Hey guys, what's up? How y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys my final recap and final thoughts on the 7 Deadly Sins, Dragon's Judgment, or Nanatsu no Taizai, Fundo no Shinpan on episode 24, Anyways, yeah, this is the final episode and my final recap, Finally, it's over. And I can finally give you guys my overall final thoughts of the anime series in general, So, if anything else, let's just get this started. Let's see here. After the battle with the Calf Polig and, Arthur getting ready to rebuild his kingdom, we have two of the 7 Deadly Sins take separate ways, I mean, King and Diane gonna go get married very soon, while Bon and Elaine gonna go, travel on all of Britannia drinking ales and alcohol, While, Elizabeth and Meliodas will go their separate way, while Hawk decides to go back to go to Purgatory and build a tomb for his older brother, It's kind of an emotional moment to see them take separate ways, but it is what it is. Nothing tends to last forever, but the bonds and friendship will always be around them. And we have to it, Hawk asks Merlin to send him to Purgatory, which Merlin reluctantly does and tells him, I can't guarantee you'll be coming back, okay? And then Hawk ends up in Purgatory and ends up suffering for a bit and actually ends up running into Wild, his older brother. And Wild's like, wait a minute, is that my brother? Oh my gosh, you're alive! He says, you're alive too! Hi, And we have to, after the next few years goes by, I don't know how many years. All I know is it's either 1 year or possibly more. I don't know what the situation is, but, we have to it that peace in Britannia has become a very big thing, There's one warrior who finds kind of boring now, since, there's nothing much to do and just take out several weak monsters and take down a couple weak bandits. And we see Jericho and Gilla training each other, and then we have to it that Hauser's training them, Jericho ends up getting a message about what happened with Jericho and Bon and decides to, go to them. And as for one of the Holy Knights or something, he decides to go to a kingdom where there's only humans alone, etc. And then we see to it that we see Gil Thunder, Margaret, along with, Veronica and... what's his name again? I don't know. We have to it that, we have to it that things are starting to get very peaceful now. As for the sacred tree that Bon and Elaine is living at right now, Elaine is pregnant, not to mention Elizabeth. Looks like to me their children are on the way very soon. We have to it that Bon decides to name his son Lancelot, while, Meliodas decides to name his son Tristan, I mean, okay, I gave you the minor spoiler about, about Bond's child's gonna be a boy, but Lancelot, if you guys know that name Lancelot, obvious from the get-go, it's obviously gonna at least be a boy, because if you guys know about the true Arthur legends, you know what Lancelot did, so, yeah, that kind of thing. And we have to it, 10 years goes by, and we see Tristan going around, playing around, and he ends up meeting the 7 Deadly Sins, seeing them as evil people, And what makes it more funny is that Meliodas actually set all that up, And we have to it that, Deanne and everyone else is like, dude, are you effing serious? Why didn't you or did you not say anything of the real truth? And Meliodas is like, I thought it might be funny that way. I'm like, bruh, I hate you. Just kidding. That aside, we have to it that day is celebrating Tristan's 10th birthday, And we have to it Bon tries to convince Tristan that your father and us are not villains, okay? If that was the case, do you think everyone will be here to celebrate that day with you? And Tristan's like, no way I'm believing that. Freaking father, he's irresponsible, drinks a lot, and touches mommy's boobs all the time. I'm like, oh my lord, man. So funny as hell and laughable as hell, I mean, the way how he talks about such things, etc. Even Elizabeth finds herself embarrassed about this situation. But whatever the case may be, we had to that Gotha decides to give Tristan a nice good gift about the true journey and truth about the 7 deadly sins, And we had to that Tristan knows from 0 to 100 of what the 7 deadly sins really are, you know? And that's when Tristan finally had tears coming down, because he's really, how am I supposed to say it? I'm happy to see that the 7 deadly sins did all this, you know? Etc. And then towards the very end of the episode, Meliodas and Tristan have a father to son talk, you know, as any father and son would do. And we had to it, Tristan decides to say, I'm going to be one of the 7 deadly sins, or be like you. You guys are the 7 deadly sins, you know? And the episode ends off right there. And there, it's finally over. Game over, you know? So yeah, this is the final episode, and I think I could give you guys my final overall thoughts of the anime series in general. You know, when it came to Season 1 and Season 2, I thought it was really nice and slick. It's kind of funny how, like, I started this series without knowing the manga so well, and then I end up reading the manga eventually down the road, you know? And then, of course, things kind of went down under when it came to Season 3. Now, in terms of adaptation, I guess they did okay, but in terms of, like, putting any effort into Season 3 and this final season, I'm pretty disappointed. I'm just speaking out plain truth. I'm pretty sure anybody who might like or hate the 7 deadly sins would know what I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, nothing's ever going to be great, but when you have the first 2 seasons of, like, Nanatsu no Taizai being done so well, you expect things to be at least somewhat better than the manga when it comes to the last 2 seasons of Season 3 and Season 4. Now, I might be nitpicky and might be freaking overthinking it, but Doc, when it came to Season 3 and Season 4, it could have been much, much better. But if you guys even know Studio Dean, you would know how sometimes they don't really put a lot of effort into their works. But eventually, as I grew and I understand about how anime studios works, I understand that. But it would have been better if they could have just laid off Season 3, Season 4 for a long time and let some other studio take over it, if anything else. But I don't know how it works anyways, but all I could really say is like, Season 3 and Season 4, in terms of adaptation, it could have been better if they put more effort into their arts, into their art, animation, and everything else. Music's always top-notch. There's no way you can outdo the music. Music in the series will always be top-notch. I loved it. I love it very much to the very end, and I always will. I mean, Hiroyuki Sawano. Who would not like the guy, dude? He is one of the best anime music composers in all Japan or all of global around, okay? Yeah. So, yeah, first 2 seasons, yeah, it was really nice and cool. And then, you know, when it came to Season 3 and Season 4, oh, dear Lord. I'm not going to talk much about that, and I'm glad this journey is over. Don't get me wrong, I liked the series eventually. I eventually loved the series eventually, but sometimes, you know, depending on how it was done in terms of adaptation, you're going to be very ticked, and I am one of those people. And I'm pretty sure anybody who hates or likes the 7 Deadly Sins, despite the major nasty inconsistency of when it comes to powers and battles, when it came to like the Holy War, the second Holy War arc, will understand what I'm talking about. So, adaptation-wise, great in terms of animation and art. Just only when Season 3 started is when everything went to hell. Oh my lord. Makes me want to puke, but I just had to go with it to the very end. In terms of the story, I thought it was really nice, but in terms of power level inconsistency, when it came to the second Holy War that started in Season 3 or Season 3, you know, that's when things kind of went down under, so yeah. Anyways, if I had to give my score for freaking Nanatsu no Taizai, Fundo no Shinpan, or Dragon's Judgment, I'm sorry. It's 4 out of 10 or even lower than that. Forgive me. There's nothing much I can give out myself. I'm better off reading a manga being motion cap. I'd rather see a manga motion capture than I'd rather see a colored manga motion capture than freaking like seeing Season 3 or Season 4 again. That much is considered. Or even see like fan animation from other people who knows how to do this right, who would like to do this right, you know. Call me messed up, crazy Milanakis, but I'm just speaking truths, man. Just speaking out my mind. But aside from that, at least the music was top notch. Hiroyuki Sawano, no one can beat that guy. Almost any music he does in a certain series, it's gonna be slick and top notch. So I love the music, that's for certain, you know. Characters, I love them too in a certain way, I guess, you know, whatever the case may be. So yeah, nothing much I can really say here on now. If they ever want to animate the sequel series, which I will give a little big spoiler by the way, called The Four Nights of Apocalypse, I hope a studio who will ever put a big effort to it will at least pick it up. And not Studio Dean. I'm sorry, Studio Dean. I don't know what the heck or series you be doing, but I don't want to trust you with another weekly shonen series ever again. Sorry. So until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alphazito. Have a good day, and I hope you guys are happy that this journey for you is over. Same thing with me. As much as I love the Nanatsu no Taizai series, despite its major power inconsistency and, you know, everything else all considered, Season 3 and Season 4, bleh. Bleh. So, yeah. Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot-toot.